Okay, I need a new personal pen. Right, now we're set up to drill this. I have it set up as good as I can get it, I think. Although I might go too close if I go down there. Maybe over that way a little bit. Right, drilling antler, it's in itself can be a little bit hit and miss. You've got to be very careful when you're setting it up to make sure you actually get everywhere and that you stay inside the antler. So spending a bit of time now can save you a lot of grief later. You see just there, I'm going to go outside it there, so I have to come over that way a little bit. As I said, it can be a little bit hit and miss, drilling antler. Too far. Especially when you're putting a wide barrel in and you're just trying to get the outside of the antler. Now I might have a problem down in there, I might come too close, but if I can get a little bit of the natural horn on this, I'll be delighted. Right, let's try this. I'm drilling at about 450. Right, let's have a look at that. Yes, I'm inside the antler at the top, but I'm worried about the centre of this because there's a slight bow in this antler. So hopefully I won't come through the side, but hopefully as well I will be close enough so that I can leave a little piece of the natural horn showing on the side of the pen. Right, I'm going to slow this down to 240 because I'm creating a lot of heat, which I do not want to do. It really depends on where you're drilling in an antler and the type. I found Red Deer Antler can be drilled faster than Sika, which is what this is. But it's quite tough to drill through sometimes. Let's grab the bush for clearing. This is my favourite medium of late for doing pens, is antler. It seems to be very popular as well. It's hard to get sometimes. No. Although all of my antler is natural drop from the herd in Clare National Park. As with any pen blank, you gotta watch for heat build-up. The drilling of the antler is probably one of the hardest pieces of actually working with it. Especially when you're going tight like this. So this is my own personal pen. I have an idea in my head of the way I want it to be. Still a bit stuck there. When I'm getting towards the end, I want to go really slow because I don't want to burst out the bottom of this. Even though I have left a bit for trimming and stuff on the blank, it's I still don't want to burst out the bottom of it. Let's remove that Banshee up a little bit. Right, now the pressure is totally gone off that, so I'm coming through the back. Just slow right down, and I'm out. Hopefully I didn't create too much heat. Right, let's have a look at that. Did I burst through the side? Hopefully not, but hopefully I came close to it. Yeah, no, we're good. Right, I will scuff up a tube and glue it in there. That's still quite hot. Right, so what I will actually do is I will let that cool down first. Then I will glue a tube into it. Looks like it might be nice. I don't know if I got close enough though to get the some of that outside. There's a divot in there in the horn, which is what I was aiming for, to try and keep a piece of natural. If I can keep like a stripe of natural in the pen, I would be delighted. Right, but we'll so I'll let that cool down a bit, and then I'll glue it in, and glue a tube in. So I'll be back in a sec. Right then, we're all glued up, and I just have to mill it down to the tube. Right, I'm going to use your standard pen mill, stick that in a vise. I have the right size collar on it, and we're just going to level that down. Right then, we're all down to the tube, and it's on the mandrel. The mandrel is, because I know I'm going to be asked this, it's an Axminster compression mandrel. I did a review on it. It's a fantastic mandrel. I'll leave a link up there for it, for that review. I find it absolutely fantastic. Right, and up I go to my preferred speed for pens, which is 2000. And I'm going to very gently just start taking this down. See how I'm doing. Am I going to be able to keep a little bit of that? Maybe. I don't know. It'd be a nice pen one way or the other. Right, I hear a lot of people when they're talking about working with Antler saying that it stinks. Right. Fresh Antler stinks. Antler that's a couple of years old like this doesn't. Well, that's my opinion on it anyway. Needs to be sharpened. Yeah, Antler, by the way, blunts your tools very quickly. Right, now we're back to it. Much better. There's a slight little bump just there I don't like. Yeah, hopefully I've managed to keep some of that natural on it. I have. Excellent job. Right there. That slant there isn't quite right. That's better. Yeah, much better. And I have managed to keep it a little bit natural. Excellent. Right, now we're going to get to finishing this. And this is where I get quite a few questions sometimes about finishing antler. Because I finish it in what people class as a strange way. Right, I don't put a finish on it. I finish the antler itself. Right, now we're going to start off with 150 and work my way up to 240. Right. So I'll just speed through this because I'm going to turn on the extractor, and as anybody knows, my extractor is kind of loud. Right, and sanding on pens doesn't take all that long because they're small. Right. But meticulous finishing and cleaning is a must. Oh, that's nice. But I really like the fact that I managed to keep a little bit of that natural in there. Right then. I'm going to spin that up to dry it off. Only take a couple of seconds because of the denatured alcohol, or mets as we call it over here. Right, now I went through this finishing routine for antler in a video a fair bit back. Right, but I'm going to go through it again because I was asked to. Right, sand it to 240, cleaned with mets. Right, sanding sealer. I know it's not wood, but trust me, this helps. It has pores like wood. But what you got to remember is that antler is basically bone. And we let that dry off, and then we're back for Yorkshire Grit, and do the Yorkshire Grit bit, which this week is about a legend of Ireland. Right, we're Yorkshire Gritting this, and I've only just started because it's going to be short, so this week's Yorkshire Grit is actually quite a short one. Right, the legend we're going to talk about is the Banshee, right, which is an anglicised version of Banshee. Now, Shada means fairy, right? Like the fairy in Ireland is a sheog, right? So Banshee is actually an anglicised version of Banshee, and that's where the word comes from. Right, a Banshee is always female. Right, you will hear people going, "Oh, my family has a male Banshee." No, you don't. A Banshee is always female because the legend is based on keeners. Right, now what a keener was is, a long time ago at Irish funerals, there were women hired to basically sob and wail at a funeral, because the more people who were sobbing and wailing at a funeral. What's knocking? Oh, I know it's knocking. It's okay. That's not a bearing or anything. It's just it's the mandrel. Right, I've put too much pressure on it, moved. It'll go away in a minute. See, gone away. Right. So where was I? Oh yeah, a keener. Right. There were actual women whose profession it was to go and cry at funerals and wail and yelp and whatever, because the more people who were doing that at your funeral, basically it meant the more popular you were. Right. Now, some of the stuff that everybody gets wrong about banshees. Number one, banshees do not cause death. Right, that's a Hollywood thing that people are just accepting these days, right? They do not cause death, right? They're harbingers, right? And there's basically two types, right? There's a family banshee, right? And there's what has become accepted, a hateful banshee. Again, the Hollywood, right? Now, a family banshee is normally the soul of a young girl who has died and she loves her family. She comes and wails to warn her family that someone in that family is about to die, right? And it's normally 2 or 3 days before the death. Each family has a banshee of their own, if your family has one, right? Now, in the normal legends, they are pictured as a beautiful young girl dressed in a gown, and she has red eyes from crying so much, right? They're mostly, if you go into the really old legend part, right, they're mostly accepted by the family and they're welcomed because it helps the family prepare for the death of somebody. Quite often, what would happen after the funeral is that night, the family would leave out offerings for the banshee to thank her for the warning, right? Now, the second one, which is basically what has been accepted as a legend, right, which is very loosely based on a banshee, right, is the hateful banshee, right? This banshee is normally depicted as an old, scarred woman who cries and screams and wails, but yet again, her cry does not cause death. This causing death thing seems to have flourished because of movies, right? And it's almost accepted now about the causing death bit, but it doesn't have. If you go back to the original legend, it doesn't, right? This banshee again foretells or actually celebrates the death of a family member that they hated or that did them wrong, basically a bad person, right? And the banshee is the judge of this. Right, there's the fourth part. I'm also going to do Yorkshire Grit microphone on this as well. Now, back to the story. Right? Now, these banshees are not welcome by the family because they're not there for good intentions. Right? They only appear to spread like a fear of death. There's that mandrel again. Too much pressure. Where was it? Yeah, they spread a fear of death, or to celebrate somebody in the family dying. Right, so they're not really part of the true legend. Right. I'll just stop that moving because it's starting to annoy me now. Right. The legend itself, as I said, it's based on keeners or wailing women at a funeral, and the scream part probably comes from the red fox vixen, who, if you actually have ever heard it, sounds exactly like a woman screaming, right, or wailing, right? As I said, if you haven't heard it, it's hard to believe what it actually sounds like. And a thing actually happens over here, especially with tourists, right, where they will be going for a walk, enjoying the scenery, which is beautiful over here. And it'll be in the evening or at night, because it's safe to walk around at night out in the country. Right? And they'll hear the vixen scream, and they'll actually ring the guards because they think there's a woman being attacked. Right now, the guards, or Gardaí, are the Irish police force, and Gardaí, the full version of the name is Gardaí Síochána, which means Guardians of the Peace. Right now, something that you might find weird over here is 99% of our guards are not armed. Right, and the thing is, they don't need to be. Okay, sometimes they do, but now there is armed response units, and all detectives carry guns, but they're not armed. Right, so that's the legend of the Banshee in a nutshell. As I said, it has been twisted by Hollywood into that the Banshee kills people and stuff, which it doesn't. Right, it's a harbinger. It forewarns of a death. Right, so that's the Yorkshire Grit bit for this week. Now we're going to go on to the bit I keep getting asked questions about. Right, now you can see how shiny that is at the moment. Right, and to be honest, I could leave it like that and it will stay, because I haven't put a finish on it. I've actually polished the antler itself, so that finish is there for good and all. Right, like you've often heard the saying, "As hard as bone." Well, that is bone, right? But I can make it deeper, right? And what I'm going to use is Brasso, good old-fashioned Brasso. Now, Brasso, this is the one, as I said, this is the one I keep getting asked questions about. Brasso is a metal polish, right? Now, I'm not sure if the American version of this has the same recipe, right? But I know that the Irish one, the English one, is the same, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the Brasso on, leave it for a second, I'll put it back up on the shelf, and then I'm going to start working the Brasso. I work it the same way I work Yorkshire Grit, with the same piece of towel, right? And as I said, it's an abrasive, like all metal polishes are, right? And what this will actually do is sand this surface even more. But what it does on antler and on resin actually is it puts a deeper shine, so it puts a deepness into the shine. Right, so just work it in as you would, as if you were using Yorkshire Grit microfine. Right. But it puts a real depth into the shine. Right. And then just polish it off as you would with any other polish. Now, hopefully you can see the depth that's in that shine. Right? And as I said, because I've actually polished the antler itself, there's no finish on it to tarnish. Now, I've seen pens that I've done out of antler that are daily uses, right? And they still have that same shine on them. Right, I think it's stunning the way it comes up. Right, now we'll put this together. Right. So I'll set up for that and I'll be back in a sec. Right then, let's put this thing together. Now, we'll start off with the cap. Right, so just pick an end. I want to see that. So we put the cap on there. I want to be able to see that piece of natural. After I've been lucky enough to get it in there, I want to see it. There's that end on. And we put the other end on. Right. A little bit of a squeeze. Right. There's the two ends on. Don't need to press anymore, so we get that out of the way. Right. Open it up. Put the two pieces of the click mechanism together. Trying to remember which way they go. That way. Right. Screw end on that end. Put it in. Use the refill to slide it into place. Put the clicker spring in. Get the button. Put it on. Making sure I put that spring in the right place. Screw it down. Right, give it a quick check. Working perfectly. Right. Clean off the nub. That's one thing, if you're ever doing a pen, and especially if you're new, guys who do pens will know this, right? Pen refills always come with a little like dip of like wax or plastic or something over the tip. So if you ever do a pen and you try and write with it, it won't work, check you've got that off. Right. Slide the spring over. The nib cut back on, and it's perfect. Right. So there we go. There's my new personal pen. Right. Sierra Click, done with Deer Antler, and I like the contrast between the white and black. That's why I use this black kit. So I hope you enjoyed that one. I hope I have explained my reasoning behind why I don't put a finish on antler, why I actually finish the antler itself. Hope you enjoyed the Banshee story, and I'll see you in the next one.